In honor of Dr. Martin Luther King celebration, I noticed that I did a speech back in 2004 at the United States Army Recruiting Command celebrating the Brown versus Board of Education 50-year anniversary. And tonight I want to give that speech while I focus my camera on Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. And this speech was given by me at a time where I was talking about going to college. Now, some 12 years later, I graduated from college. I have a son who's graduated from college at the University of Georgia. He's now in grad school at University of North Carolina. I have another son. He's at Valor State University right now, a sophomore, and really have an academic family. But this speech is one that when I gave it to help others, now knowing it would grab hold to me and impact my life. This is a speech given in 2004 at the United States Army Recruiting Command headquarters in Fort Knox, Kentucky. Although the case of Brown versus the Board of Education has not solved all the racial and segregational problems in this country, it was a major step in the right direction. Every problem needs to be acknowledged and defined before anyone can attempt to solve it. And the acknowledgement by the Supreme Court of segregation does give a precedent which will attempt to alleviate this problem of inequality in our land, of equal opportunities. Today, I would like to positively focus on our Black history 50 years before the Brown versus Board of Education ruling, May 17th, 1954. I will begin this journey reflecting back upon some positive results that led up to the Brown versus Board of Education ruling, and also look forward 50 years to the here and now, and testify to some positive achievements we have as a result of the Brown versus Board of Education ruling. Brown versus Board of Education 50-year anniversary, 50 years before. Number one, there was John Mercer Langston, the first African American elected to the Congress from Virginia. At the age of 14, Langston enrolled in the preparatory department of Oberlin College. While a student at Oberlin, he excelled in debate. He graduated from the collegiate department in 1849, the fifth black man to do so. Inspired by his experiences in Cincinnati, he involved himself in the Black Rights Movement. In 1848, at the invitation of Frederick Douglass, Langston delivered an impromptu speech to the National Black Convention in Cleveland, condemning those who refused to help fugitive slaves. Number two, Lucy Craft Laney. Lucy entered the first class of Atlanta University in 1869 at the age of 15. After graduating from Atlanta University, Laney began a lifelong career as an educator and the founder of numerous institutions for the uplift of freedom and their children. She taught first for 10 years in public schools in Savannah, Macon, and Millersville. Much of her efforts were curtailed by the reactionary phases of Reconstruction and post-Reconstruction in Georgia. Lucy Craft Laney, believing that she could provide a higher standard of education than Georgia's public school for Negroes, Lucy Laney decided to open her own school with the encouragement of Christ Presbyterian Church, USA, and chose the city of Augusta, which provided no schools for black children. Various Negro aid societies provided some funds. The school opened on January 6, 1883, in the basement of the Christ Presbyterian Church, 10 and Telefair Street. Starting with 5 children, Lena had within a couple of years over 200 students enrolled in her school. Lucy Craft Laney in 1885, the first class was graduated from Miss Laney's school. The school was chartered in the state of Georgia in 1886. But with over 20 students, Laney School was in need of a larger facility. In 1887, Laney traveled to Minnesota to tell the Presbyterian Church Convention about her school and the need for funding. Through the church, though the church did not feel the need for greater resources, Frances Haynes, the secretary of the Women's Executive Committee of Home's Mission, was impressed by Lucy Laney's appeal. Which leads me to Frances Haynes. Haynes was deeply struck by Laney's sense of purpose and determination that she launched her own crusade for the school among her wealthy friends. Eventually, Haynes' campaign would bear fruit in the form of major contributions from several northern women. The buildings erected with the entire school were named in honor of Haynes. The Haynes Normal and Industrial Institute, Bursons 190 to 191. Frances Haynes came up with $10,000 for the expansion of the school. Relocated to 800 Gwinnett Lane, Walker Boulevard Street, Haynes Institute survived until the onset of the Depression. Before her death from neuritis and hypertension in October 1933, Lucy Craft Laney started the first black kindergarten in Augusta, Georgia, and the first black nursing school in the city of Lamar, the Lamar School of Nursing. She influenced many by her work at Haynes, including John Hope, a Haynes graduate and the first African American president of the Atlanta University, and Mary McLeod Bethune, the founder of Bethune-Cookman. William D. DuBose graduated from Fisk University in 1888. Fisk University was established in Nashville, Tennessee in 1866 for former slaves by the American Missionary Association. In 1872, it became the first African American college to receive a Class A rating by the Southern Association of Colleges and Secondary Schools. George Washington Carver, 1887 high school graduate, 1994 gained BS in Agriculture, 1884 MS in Agriculture from Iowa Agricultural College, now Iowa State University. Martin Luther King Jr., the one you see on the picture right now, in 1948, he graduated from Morehouse College with a BA degree in sociology. That fall, he enrolled in Crozar Theological Seminary in Chester, Pennsylvania. While attending Crozar, he also studied at the University of Pennsylvania. He was elected president of the senior class and delivered the valedictorian address. He won the Pearl Placer Award for the most outstanding student, and he received the J. Lewis Crozar Fellowship for graduate study at University of his choice. He was awarded a Bachelor of Divinity degree from Crozar in 1951. Now we come to the Brown versus Board of Education 50th anniversary. Let's look at 50 years since that happened. Since the landmark ruling of Brown versus Board of Education in 1954, there has been some efforts and strides in leveling the playing field of education. Many Americans have taken advantage of the ruling. I would like to name just a few African Americans that had hoped for a brighter America and equality for all. The main legacy of the Brown decision in Milwaukee was a ruling by federal judge John W. Reynolds in 1976 that the public school system was unconstitutionally segregated. The result was a plan focused mainly on specialty and magnet schools, largely voluntarily abusing the white students and largely involuntarily abusing the black students. The plan was implemented peacefully, unlike in some cities. This led to some of the best schools in the cities. Rufus King High School, with its highly regarded college preparatory curriculum, and Golden Mile Elementary for gifted and talented children are two examples. Samuel Harvey Jr. was Vice President of Urban Affairs at Georgetown University. He is a graduate of Fairfield University and Georgetown University School of Law, a member of the advisory board of the Duke Ellington School of Performing Arts. He also serves on the D.C. Committee of Public Education. He states, And in nearly 40 years since Brown versus Board of Education of Topeka formerly desegregated public schools, African American youth have made enormous progress in high school completion, in better test scores, and in careers. The endless streams of negative statistics tends to overshadow the individual accomplishments of those who found their way around the barriers and through the closed doors. Jet magazine, March 17, 1997, noted that the percentage of blacks who received doctorates in education and theology was nearly double that of whites. It also observed that law and medicine have attracted a higher proportion of blacks than other races. However, blacks were less represented at all levels in technical fields such as engineering, physics, and life sciences. One may assume that the underrepresentation of blacks in those areas need attention. Brown versus Board of Education 50-year anniversary now. We come to now. I've talked about before, I've talked about since, but now I want to talk about now. I have spoken about the 50 years before, the 50 years since the landmark ruling of Brown versus Board of Education. Now I want to talk about the now. As I was trying to gather my thoughts about what I wanted to say about the now, I went to yahoo.com, google.com, AOL.com, and all the search engines on the internet, trying to find success stories of African Americans who closed the gap in leveling the playing field of education. And then it hit. I was surrounded by individuals who charged forward with their pursuit of higher education for equality. Individuals like my younger brother, Roger Isom, 1988 graduate of the U.S. Naval Academy, and now serving as a Captain 06 in the U.S. Navy, holding 2 master's degrees. Command Sergeant Major Harold Blunt, associate degree from Georgia Military College, Millersville, Georgia, bachelor's degree from S. Sessler College in Albany, New York. Lieutenant Colonel Randall Cheeseborough, Master of Science in Industrial Engineering, and Bachelor of Science in Mechanical Engineering. Major Dukes, Bachelor of Business Administration, Jackson State University. Major Bryant, graduate from Alabama State University in 1992 with a Bachelor of Science degree in Finance and Marketing with summa cum laude honors, and as a distinguished military graduate of the Army ROTC at Auburn University. Ms. Bernice Furlow, 2 master's degrees, the first one as a Master of Occupational and Training Development, and the second as the Master of Public Service Counseling. Captain Alford Williams, bachelor's degree in criminology. Of all the inspiring achievers that came to mind, there's one among us who has the likes of Miss Laney, Miss Bethune, Miss Frances Haynes. Smiling down upon her, Miss Wylette Tillman Provo has captured their dreams and is turning their dreams into a reality. A single parent, a Cub Scout leader, a mother, a supervisor, and mentor, and yet she still found the time to receive a master's degree in education and is still climbing the mountain in pursuit of a PhD in education. I couldn't ask Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. I couldn't ask Miss Bethune or Miss Laney, but I was able to ask Master Tillman Provo what fueled her to climb that mountain. I quote, "Prepare for your life. Our lives are shaped by the commitments we make. Our commitments can develop us or destroy us. Either way, they define us. They are the cornerstones of who we become. Casual thinking and half-hearted commitments don't allow you to soar at anything you set out to accomplish. Develop your own personal mission statement. For me, pray first, aim high, and stay focused. Your growth is far too important to lead to chance or in the hands of another. Preparation is what distinguishes the mediocre from the great." Let us remember, as we celebrate the 50-year anniversary of the Brown versus Board of Education, as Dr. King once said, in his I Have a Dream speech. This is our hope. This is the faith that I will go back to the South with. With this faith, we will be able to hew out of the mountain of despair a stone of hope. Don't let Dr. King's dream end with a stone of hope, but strive to not only hew out the mountain, but seize the mountain and keep hope alive. Keep hope alive. Keep hope alive. John Wallace Isom Jr., 2004, at the USARED headquarters, recruiting command, during the Brown versus Board of Education 50-year anniversary. That concludes my speech from 2004. Now I would like to say to you an update as of 21 January 2016. Master Tim Provo has since retired from the Army, and guess what? She is Dr. Provo right now. She got her doctorate degree. Matter of fact, the one who gave the speech here, myself, who was going to college, so I said at the time, but not really going. I have been blessed to attend college, and like Dr. Martin Luther King, get my BS degree in sociology. I want to say to you that Dr. King really has impressed me, and the reason why this Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. means much to me is because he gave the I Have a Dream speech August of 1963. If we do the math, my mom and dad heard that speech. And if we do the math from August 63 and go to May 9th, 64, 9 months later, out came another junior. I was birthed May 9th, 1964. My mom and dad connected for me August of 1963, the month that Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. gave his speech. So I can say, and I often say, I am a King's baby. So if Martin Luther King Jr. could give us I Have a Dream speech, then John Wallace Isom Jr. come here today to let you know that I have one goal in life, and that is to give hope. And that's why me and my wife for 25 years, Karen Wybett Wilson Isom, have made it a focal point to ensure that our 5 children not only go to school, but get their education and then go out and make a difference. I am the You Can Man. My website is www.johnThe, the letter U, CANMAN.com. Please go and visit my website and you will see the results of the dream. I say in conclusion, Dr. King left us a message of hope. The You Can Man, myself, John Wallace Isom Jr., I give hope. And I believe without hope, the people will perish. But with hope, the sky is the limit. For I believe they are about faith, hope, and love. And as we know, Corinthians says in the Bible, the greatest is love. But in the middle of faith and love is hope. Keep your hope alive. Don't give up. And always remember, you can, you can, you can.